Hi friends, today we're going to learn how to read a scaled bar graph. So as a reminder, a bar graph shows data in different categories and how many there are in each category. For example, on this graph of favorite activities, notice that indoor soccer shows 14 votes because the bar that represents indoor soccer goes up to the line that represents 14. Outdoor soccer, on the other hand, got 8 votes. So now let's look at a scaled bar graph. This graph shows the different colors of slime that were sold and how many containers of each color were sold. One thing that you'll notice on this graph is where our numbers of containers are is no longer counting by ones. Instead, we see that it has a scale of 2, meaning it increases, each line increases by 2. Scale is the amount that each interval increases on a bar graph. So here's how we can read this bar graph. I'm going to look at the pink slime color right here. I'm going to see how far that bar goes up and what line it represents when it reaches the top. So when I get to the top of this bar, I see that it's at the line of 6. So that means that there were 6 pink containers of slime sold. So there were 6 containers of pink slime sold. Now let's look at green. So when I look at green, I see that the bar goes all the way up in between two numbers. It doesn't stop exactly on a line. It stops in between two numbers. If I come over here, I can see it's between the numbers 14 and 16. And this bar is directly in the middle between 14 and 16. So I'm going to think, what number comes right in the middle of 14 and 16? Well, I know that that's 15, so that tells me that there were 15 containers of green slime that were sold. Now, not all bar graphs have a scale of 2. Let's look at this bake sale item sold bar graph. If we look at the scale over here, we can see it's counting by 20s. 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. So we would say that this graph has a scale of 20. We're going to read the graph in the same way though. So let's look at the cookies. For the cookies, the bar goes all the way up to this line. If we look over here, that line represents 100. That means they sold 100 cookies. Let's look at scones though. Scones fall right in between two amounts or two lines. So scones goes right in between the 40 amount and the 60 amount. So I'm going to think in my head, what would come right between 40 and 60? Well, right in the middle of 40 and 60 would be 50. So I know that 50 scones were sold. And that's how we can read a scale bar graph. So by looking at the scale, we can more accurately read bar graphs.